Welcome to the League One game of the week, and it was a busy Easter period on Good Friday for League One teams. 5 games. North Wales, a Wales derby. This is, for the first time, I think we've seen a real blowout. North Wales 70, West Wales Raiders 8. Just, it's too big a score in that division.
It is. It is, and it's disappointing for West Wales because they've
been doing well.
They've showed a much improved. They're having a much improved season, haven't they? Yeah. To compare to last year. Obviously, we knew the introduction of the Australian coach they brought in, and a few players as well from other clubs. They've bolstered the ranks, and they have been a lot more competitive and have been doing reasonably well this season. You know, compared to massive improvement on last season. So there is progress being made. I think the disappointing thing for the coach and his team will be the manner of that loss. You know, it's a Welsh derby. You know, North Wales versus West Wales. You know, you want to compete hard in that game, and it was nothing more than a comprehensive win. It was a demolition act, wasn't it, really, there from the North Wales side. Rob Massam, the Welsh international winger, scoring 4 tries, taking the man of the match and all the plaudits. But yeah, it was a demolition act, and I think, you know, West Wales were probably in the contest there for maybe 10 minutes. It was quite nip and tuck, and then after that it was one-way traffic. So a disappointing day at the office for West Wales, because they have been making progress on the field in their fixtures this season. But like you said there, Alex, you know, those sort of scorelines we don't need to be seeing, do we, at any level?
Oldham 28, Hunslet 36. Hunslet, are they the team of the year so far across all the divisions for what they've achieved?
Hey.
Take every team in rugby league, professional rugby league,
yep.
At Hunslet the team of the year so far.
Oh, it's a big thing saying that.
I'm just saying so far. It's a big shout. Saints, obviously.
Yeah,
but
Saints
Hunslet,
are playing really well.
You know,
but look,
nobody expected it.
No, they didn't. And you got to give Gary Thornton, the Hunslet coach. He's a wily old character. He's been around the Championship and League One for a number of years. He knows it.
He's signed well.
I think he's done well with his recruitment. He's been very shrewd in the close season there with who he brought in. And I think he's got a really well balanced team, but they're obviously buying into what he's putting in place, you know, in terms of the way he wants to play. And they've got a collective spirit there that's driving them forward, and they've got real aspirations to come back into the Championship. So at the moment they're going in the right direction. They're playing some really good football, and again they had to come back. You know, it was a late fight back from them. You know, Oldham at home, you know, disappointing for them at home to lose again.
It's been a weird one.
Yeah, they've not been as good at home as they normally are. It's normally a bit of a fortress there, isn't it, Oldham, in the past, but not seen to be going that way for them this season. But you know, to Hunslet to go there, you know, and from what I can gather, I think, you know, Oldham got themselves caught up in a little bit of a fracas around that sort of 68th, 69th minute mark, and that really changed the complex of the game. You know, both teams were reduced to 11 men at one point, and then, like you said, it just Hunslet found a way there to come over the top of them at the end. So yeah, Scott Naylor will be disappointed there, because they were in a position to win that game. You know, I think at one point there, you know, but like I said, it was a great late fight back. They were 28-18 up were Oldham, and so fantastic result away for Hunslet there, but disappointment there for Oldham.
A man I spoke to on the bus on this weekend, on Good Friday, was Jermaine Coleman, Jamaica coach, on his way back from a great win for the Scolars, 30 points to 28 away at Coventry, who we know a drastically improved side. And he said they were so athletic as a side. The Scholars just getting over and going into 3rd place in the table. Hunslet, Whitehaven, Scholars, nobody would have predicted that after round 7.
No, you wouldn't have done. You know, and it's great for the game, and it's great for this League One, you know, because I think in the past, you know, League One has become a division of almost 2 divisions in one, if you know what I mean. Like the sort of top half have always kind of really blown that. So it's great to see some of these more unfancied or unfavoured teams really coming to the fore. And I love seeing progression.
Is that like Sheffield in the Championship?
Yeah, you could argue a little bit like that. You know, Sheffield have
nobody expected it after last year's performance.
No, but again, recruitment,
great job.
Recruitment was really good in the close season for Sheffield, and
we've seen that with Hunslet and Sheffield this year. Would you say that those two teams, and St Helens as well? Let's be honest.
Yeah, they've
Warrington, obviously yourselves have done a good job, but Saints, Sheffield and Hunslet, 3 teams that have got the recruitment right for what they need in their division. Yeah,
and you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, recruitment is really key for the success of any team. I don't care what anyone says. You need to have the right people and the right players that are going to fit into your environment, your style of play. And I think those clubs you've just mentioned there have managed to get it right. Obviously, it helps too when you haven't got the injuries and you've got those players playing regularly week in, week out. So I think that helps. I think most of those teams haven't had to deal with too many injury concerns.
Sheffield have. I don't know about. I know Saints have been like, I don't know about Hunslet,
haven't. Yeah.
But definitely Sheffield have had bad injuries and they've found a way to manage it through. So fair play to Tubby and Keith on that one.
But like you said, but the recruitment is key, and like you said, and having the right environment too for those players to thrive and grow in, and we've seen that. And like you said, that was, you look at that score for London Scholars and Coventry, and just going back to League One now, in terms of these sort of unfavoured, unfancy teams, what I'm loving is the progress that these teams are making. Like even West Wales, we spoke about them earlier in the show, that the progress that they've made within 12 months, albeit they didn't get the right result this week, but they've made massive progress.
100 last year.
Coventry, the progress that they've made. I know they come off the back of a loss here. The Scholars are so it's great to see some of these unfavoured sides making good progress within rugby league. And like you said, what a contest that was. At one point there, I think Neil Thorman for me was the standout player for the Scholars. He really controlled things and was real pivotal.
Epic against Working.
Yeah, he was real pivotal, was Neil, but experienced campaigner in the halves. But Lamek Juma scoring the try in the 79th minute. But at one point there, I mean, again, I think that was a tight game at half time, 12-all. Then second half, London get away to a 12-point advantage. They're 24-12 up, with about 11, 12 minutes to go, and you think Coventry are out of the running, and then all of a sudden Hall scores a try in the 69th minute, backs it up with another one in the 75th minute. Freeman gets over in the 78th minute, and all of a sudden it's Coventry in front, and you're thinking game's dead and buried, and then Lamek Juma out of nowhere in the 79th minute scores the match winner, and it gets converted to win 30 points to 28. So a real seesawing game, great contest. Would have been fantastic for any of the fans watching that game. Disappointing, I guess, for Coventry in the end at home, that they thought they may have snatched that victory, and then to have their party spoiled by the Scholars in the final minute. Because at 78th minute, Mark, you're thinking you're in front now 28-24 with a minute to go. You think you probably can close this game out, but somehow the Scholars found a way to win it. So remarkable game. It was a scrappy contest and affair at times, but what a win for London Scholars, and they continue their climb up the table.
It's now time for our feature game, Hendo, and it's time to go over to Cougar Park, Jamie Thackeray's stomping ground, because the Dons were coming to town. And they've been a bit up and down in form. But let's see how they get on today away at Keighley Cougars.
Ogden a dummy half. Goes down the short side of Foster. Nice show and go. Gets the arm free to Yeri. That's a great offload from Foster, and Yeri burrows his way in to start off a great start for the Doncaster side. Millian looks down the short side, goes out the back to Miller. Nice show and go from Miller. He's made the initial line break. He's got support in and out. He elects to go outside to Macaulay Hallett. Has Hallett got the legs? I think he has. And Macaulay Hallett will level the scores, 4 points apiece. Great try for the Cougars. Great response from them after going down early. Ogden, wide pass now to Harris. Harris onto Howden. Howden, nice wide face pass out of Tarley, and he goes in untouched, Jason Tarley. Disappointing defending on the edge there from the Cougars. Great ball movement there from Doncaster, and they extend their lead. Keighley now, close to the line on the attack. Millian out the back to Hardcastle. Shows and goes. Oh, great work there from Ben Hardcastle, and the Doncaster defenders fell for the dummy. Short side now from Keswick. He jumps out, fools the markers. Nice wide pass to Doherty. Oh, great hands on the inside of Tarley. He beats the fullback to score, and that's a great short side attacking raid from the Doncaster side. Short side again, Keswick. Nice short pass there. Oh, and I think it's Elliot Townsend, is it? The replacement. It's got the try. He has, and extends the lead further for the Dons. Last tackle now. Howden puts it up high. Right edge kick chase team coming down. It's a great catch from Prell. Beats his man. Oh, he's beat the other. Taylor Prell, the former Warrington man. Oh, and he beats the cover defence. Is he going to go the length? Yes, I think he is. I don't think they're going to get near him. That's a fantastic try for the Keighley Cougars. The wingman Taylor Prell, out of nothing, beats 3 defenders to go the length of the field. Wowzers. Keighley now, last tackle, Hardcastle to the line. Oh, what about the hands? Oh, that's a great take from Parker. How did he pluck that out the air? And that's full time at Cougar Park, and Keighley run out winners, 26 points to 18. Fantastic. You can see it on their faces, how much it means to those Cougar players. What a win.
A great win for Keighley. Unbelievable win, given the circumstances of everything that's gone on this year. Obviously the takeover, staying in business. And to get Doncaster coming there and to walk away with the points, is a huge statement for the rest of their season.
Well, it's an important win for them because we know the position that they're in. They've just got to pick up wins. They've got to keep building that momentum, and they've just got to keep climbing off the bottom of the table. So it was a really important win for them. Coach Craig Leonard will be really, really pleased with the fact they nilled the Dons in the second half. 14 points to nil in the second half, and to get the result there in the end, 26 points to 18 was a fantastic second half performance. Jack Miller, the former Dons player, was very, very pivotal. Was at the heart of a lot of the good work done there with the Cougars. So, like I said, fantastic result at home for them in front of their fans. Important victory, as I said, as it gives them that momentum to continue to move up the table and get off the foot of the table. So, great result.
Looking at it now, Hendo, looking at the league, who do you fancy? Who are you looking at in that league? Because obviously it's everyone thought Oldham at the start of the year. Thought working in Oldham, Doncaster, Newcastle Thunder, big spenders.
Yeah, they've spent well.
And yet we're seeing Haven, Hunslet, and Scholars.
Yeah.
So
it's great, isn't it? I love it. It's awesome.
Now,
it's great.
You got a nice little £5 bet. Who would you put your money on to be going up now? Knowing what you know, who would you put your money on?
From what I know and from what I've seen, you'd have to say Hunslet, wouldn't you, at this moment in time? You'd have to say Hunslet at this moment in time. I certainly still think there's a long way to go, and there's going to be a lot of twists and turns, but it's great to see some of these more unfavoured teams, like you said, in the position they are at the moment. But the challenge for them is to maintain those standards of consistency. Have they got that? That's the question.
Well, let's look at that going into this weekend's fixtures. I'm going to ask you to predict, as hard as it is in League One, let's start with this game, which is West Wales this weekend at home to Oldham. I can only see one winner.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can only see an Oldham victory this week. I think Oldham will be licking their wounds after the disappointing loss against Hunslet on Friday, so I think they'll bounce back with a response at West Wales. I like to hope there's going to be an improved performance and a response from West Wales as well, because that was disappointing for them in the derby against North Wales Crusaders. So I expect it to be a better response from West Wales, but I think Oldham will have too much firepower.
Will they get a win this year, West Wales? I really want them to get a win. I really want them to get a win.
I'm willing them. I want them to. It could be great because it's great for the game and it's great for the club. Oh, mate, it'll be like winning a grand final for them, wouldn't it? Because again, that's progress. So I'd like to, but I'm not sure I can see it coming.
They're going to get one.
I hope so. We wish you will, but I'm not sure.
Doncaster at home at the Keighley, taking on North Wales Crusaders. Coming off a big confidence-boosting win against West Wales. But they're going up against a team also licking the wounds after getting beat by Keighley. Where is your money?
Well, I'm going to go with Doncaster this week. Back at home, I think they'll have just a little bit too much for the North Wales side. I think both teams have been inconsistent this season. I think it's fair to say. I think both probably expected to be achieving more at this stage of the season than where they're at the moment. Both teams need not only the win, but they need to get some consistency in their performances and start to build towards the back end if they're going to achieve what they want to achieve.
So over at South Leeds Stadium, Hunslet versus the London Scholars. Two massive wins for Scholars away at Coventry, at home to Workington. It's going to be a really tough task coming up to Hunslet. There's a lot of players up there, Northern lads, they know the game, they know the area, they won't be fazed at all by coming home to a few of those Northerners.
True. Look, it's going to be an exciting game, isn't it? You've got first playing third, so you've got two teams that are in reasonably good form.
What do you reckon?
I think it'll be a Hunslet win at home. I tip a Hunslet win at home. I just think they've got. I think just looking at the two teams on paper, and the way both teams are playing, I just think Hunslet are probably just. I know where they are in terms of the league table, first and third, but I think their overall performances have been a bit more consistent overall. And I just think being back at home, I think they'll get the job done against a very good Scholar side that are playing well at the moment. I just don't think they're going to have enough on the day to beat Hunslet.
I'm going to go for my Jamaican brothers.
I know you would.
Scholars. Go on, Scholars. This one's a toughie. Keighley versus Workington. At Keighley. So I'm going to go for the Town Boys.
I just think, Keighley at the moment, I think they've hit a little bit of good form of late. I just think they're going to have a little bit too much. I think Workington are going to come down. I think they're going to come out of the blocks, Workington. But I just don't think they're going to have enough over the 80 minutes to get the job done.
And last but not least, Whitehaven, big winners last week against Newcastle Thunder. Dennis Betts, Sam Finnegan taking their team. They had a bye last weekend. They didn't play. Be fresh. I'm going to go Thunder.
Same.
You're going Thunder?
Yeah, I'm going
Be
Thunder.
green.
Yeah, I agree. I think.
The Thunder boys. The
yeah,
Thunder
I just
boss.
think, like you said, I think it's given that having that luxury of that week off has actually been good for Coach Finnegan. I think it gives him some extra time to really start to implement what he wants to implement. It's always hard when a new coach comes in and he has to inherit a team, and he's got to inherit what the sort of they've already got their systems and structures in place and calls, and if he wants to try and change things, you don't have a lot of time to change a lot in a short period of time. You've almost got to kind of try and roll with it, make a few tweaks as you go through the season. So I think having the luxury of that bye weekend, it's given him a bit more time to maybe he can probably change a little bit more than he probably endeavoured to when he first came into it. So I think it's given him a really good opportunity to maybe get some of the foundations that he wants to put in place in. And again, for those players too, there'll be a lot of players now wanting to prove a point to the new coach, to make sure that they're going to be retained moving forward. So I'm with you, Alex. I'm tipping a Thunder win.